the faculty here at Groveton do a wonderful job teaching kids, and we need to make sure that we support them in everything that we can. The Ex-Students Association, I taught school here for 35 years, and whenever we brought students into our classrooms, we would always say, we're going to try to get these kids some help to go to school on, be it a trade school, 2-year, 4-year deal, whatever it was, but we wanted to do what we could, and the Ex-Student Association were the people that supported these kids and got them into school, and you guys were right down the middle. You helped a lot of kids, and we're really proud to be associated with you. All right. I've had the opportunity, like Joanne said, I've taught here for 35 years, and I've had the opportunity to teach a lot of different school kids. I've taught doctors, physician assistants, surgical nurses, lawyers, veterinarians, a 2-time world champion cutting horse rider that did a really good job, Super Bowl champion football player, and a country western singer. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. Cody's the son of Carl and Sheila Johnson. They live out at Sebastopol, Texas. That's just a little south of Cheetah, if you don't know where that's at. But they did a real good job raising this kid. They raised this puppy right, and he's done really, really well. He's married to his wife Brandy, and they have these 2 kids here. Their name is Chloe, Claire, and Corey. Very well behaved kids too. They've been over at the house this afternoon. They're fun to be around. The first time I met Cody Johnson, he walked into my class, and I was not impressed with him at all. Just another kid, you know. And here we are. We're going to try to teach him something, and that's what we try to do in class. We try to teach something to somebody every day. He was involved in many of the different activities that we had in the ag department. You know, judging contests, and each spring we have a set of contests where we have a talent team. Everybody says, "Oh, this guy can sing, this guy can sing," and he can sing all right. So we signed him up for it, and it like to have drove me nuts. Every Sunday we would go to the ag a shop back there and sing, or he would sing and I would sit there and I'd be pissed, let me tell you. I wish they would hurry up and get through. Then one day it happened. I was sitting there and they started singing this Sweet Home Alabama song. Well, I knew that song. And then they did another song. And I got up and walked out there and I said, well, this deal might work. So he went on, and we went to several contests, and of course his junior year he won everything we took him to. We got to Houston to the FFA convention down there, and he was runner-up there. He did a really, really good job. And if you're not associated with the FFA talent shows that goes on, there's a lot of big singers in the United States that have sang in the FFA talent shows. Don Henley, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Eagles and all those guys. He was a member of that deal. But these people that come to this thing can sing. So the next year he wins everything again, and I got him up to Lubbock and for the state contest up there, and the competition was pretty still. And sometimes you got to kind of run at the barrier if you're going to win something. And so I gave him some songs, and I got him disqualified just like that. It did. I mean, it was over with, but we tried it, and it didn't work. But no hard feelings, and he kept on singing. While in school, Cody was involved in a lot of different activities. Like I said, he never was in much trouble, but there was a while there he kind of maybe lost his way. You know, I don't know. He's just been a teenage kid, I guess. You know, and I said, Cody, what you need to be is a cowboy. You need to sing, and you need to be a cowboy. And so, you know, it's kind of gone on, and he did, when he was in school, did a lot of bull riding and stuff, and and I think in a couple of weeks you'll see some stuff that will impress you. That's maybe coming out. I don't know, but he's done a good job representing Groveton. When he goes places, you know, he tells he's from Groveton and what they've done to help him. But like I told him, I said, man, you just need to sing, and I think you need to be a cowboy. And so that leads, it's kind of a funny story. Some days at the ag building, we would let them play shop hockey. You know, I don't know if some of you fellas ever played shop hockey or not. You take a can and you mash it flat, and you use a broom as your hockey puck. I mean, as your hockey sticks, and they play hockey in there with this can. Well, if you break a broom, everybody in there gets in trouble. They get swats, and that's corporal punishment. So I always fix one of these brooms where it would break on purpose, just to keep things going. And just so happens that day, Cody had a broke leg. I think a bull may have stepped on him, probably cried or someplace. I don't know where you were at, but anyway, if the broom broke, everybody gets in trouble. The broom broke, and even if you're watching it, he had a broke leg, and even if you watch it, you're still gonna get the swats. So he's the first broke-legged person I've ever wore. So anyway, but I don't think it hurt him too bad. Now Cody, and let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, I gave Cody the opportunity. I didn't have a whole lot to do with teaching him how to sing. I can't play the radio, but he did all this stuff that I'm fixing to read, and I'm going to do this verbatim, and I'm going to show you guys how to do verbatim. I'll show you verbatim. All right. Because this is quite a bit. Cody started singing, and he had 2 releases in the top 10 of Billboard's country albums on his Kojo label, and Cody has stayed true to himself. He didn't go out and try to be big shot and all this kind of stuff. He did it on his own, and he had his own label. He is the only person to sell out NRG Stadium, and that's down there in Houston next to the Astrodome if you ain't been there, with 74,000 tickets sold. And he did it 2 years in a row. And he wasn't even signed on a record label at that time. So guys, that's a pretty good accomplishment. I was just like, well, that's a lot of folks. And Cody is very passionate about what he does. He works for Warner Brothers now, is that right? And he's got several things working that's coming out. Let me get off this part. I guess I left that part in the truck. But anyway, all right. But anyway, Cody is a renowned singer. He does good. He travels all over the United States. I know that he is, you know, me being an ag teacher, and we go to livestock shows and stuff around the country. I know that he's the only one that's ever sold out the Austin, the San Antonio, the Houston, and the San Angelo for 3 years in a row, something like that. And I don't know if George has done that yet or not, but this guy has, and I appreciate him asking me to come up and do this afternoon. And without any more further ado, Mr. Cody Johnson.
There's a reason I don't prepare speeches, because I would do that. I would rip it halfway out. It is going to be hard to follow your speech. Thank you for blessing us with that. That was wonderful. I like what you said about foundation. Whenever I would say this, when I was a kid, when I was younger, I was homeschooled by my mother and my father for most of my grade school and in junior high, I went to a private school that my mother had a job at as the secretary of the school, so I didn't really have a lot of public school exposure. And I guess as a kid, you watch TV or you hear about what public school is going to be like. You see on TV what it's going to be like. And I was a little fearful because I wasn't from Groveton. I was raised in Sebastopol and closer to Trinity. And I didn't want to go to Trinity. I didn't like the feel of the school. It was a little bit intimidating for me. And my buddy Matthew Martin went to high school here during grade school, and he said, "You should come to Groveton." And I got here, and I told my friend Jackson on the way up here, I said, Groveton is one of those towns that's stuck in time. And when I said it, it sounded a little condescending, but truthfully, I'm going to tell you how stuck in time Groveton is. When I came to school here as a freshman, football players didn't hang out with the football players. The nerds didn't hang out with the nerds. And the blacks didn't hang with the blacks, and the whites didn't hang with the white people. Everybody was a Groveton Indian, and I've never felt anything like that before in my life until I came here. The things that we see on television now as an adult, I didn't experience growing up here in this school. Within the walls of this school, we were all one, and everyone was treated the same. And I think there was a purity to that lasted. You talk about a foundation that sticks with you. It lasted all the way through my career because I never saw anything other than good people or bad people that want to drag you down. And when I got here to this school and I didn't really know what I was going to do, the first teacher that really took a lot of interest in me was Dorothy Kennedy right here. This stage was where I performed the first song I'd ever performed outside of church was right here on the stage. And it was the first time I'd heard a bunch of little high school girls scream, and I went, "Oh Lord, I can get into this. I can get into this deal. I like this. You mean they'll pay you to do this?" And Dorothy Kennedy asked me if I wanted to be in theater. And I said, "No, I don't want to be in theater." Theaters. Kid. And she said, "Well, I got this part in this play, and you get to kiss the girl." And I'm like, "I'm into theater. You know, I want to be in theater." So what she was doing was she saw something in me. I like what you said about teachers. Teachers aren't paid enough. They're not recognized enough. And I think in today's society, in much larger schools than Groveton, they get passed over a lot because they don't get the time one-on-one like you do in a small school like Groveton to spend the one-on-one time with a kid and figure out what's their calling. What could this kid be capable of, regardless of their background, regardless of where they come from. And Dorothy Kennedy said, "I hear you play guitar." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, I want you to bring your guitar to school." So I started coming to school, and she would let me play through the English period. She would let me play through theater. And I didn't know it then, but she was shaping me. I was all too happy to play for everybody because I was new in the school and I wanted people to like me. And I played my guitar. And I didn't know that she saw something in me then that I didn't see. And so then she tells Mr. Fortenberry, you know, "Hey, I got this kid. And, you know, he's in your classes, Cody Johnson. He plays and sings. He sings. You got this FFA talent team." And I can only imagine that Mr. Fortenberry was going, "You said Cody Johnson?" "Yeah, you know who he is?" "Yeah, I know who he is, but are you sure you're talking about the right kid?" And I had the opportunity to be shaped. There's 2 rooms on this entire campus that really meant the most to me, and this one of them is the one we're standing in because I got to be amongst all different types of kids that I wasn't raised around, and I was accepted. It doesn't matter if I came from a different school or, you know, I was accepted here. And in this class, I got to play for these people and have that camaraderie. And then at Ag Bar and across the parking lot, I was shown what it was like to work. I'll say work for a man because we did work quite a bit. That's some free labor. I see Mr. Whittlesey back there nodding his head. Yes, there's some free labor out of some high school ag kids, I'm going to tell you. But I got the chance to work for a man that simply would not put up with it. I'm not going to put up with you being late. I'm not going to put up with you dressing sloppy. You're going to tuck your shirt in before you come into my ag barn. I'm not going to put up with you out there representing when you go to your other classes and you act a fool. When you come to my class, I'm going to remind you you're an FFA student. And there was a father figure in that, and it meant a lot to me. It shaped me very much. And there's things that you know, like Mr. Fortenberry, when he told me that, I'll never forget that night. He said, you need to get a good, first of all, you need to get a better crease in your cowboy hat. What'd you say? He said, you look like Kenny Chesney. That's what you said you look like. And no, it was Kenny Chesney or Toby Keith. Which one he said, you look like one of the Toby Keith guys or something. And he said, you need to sing because that's what you was meant to do. And he said, I think you need to be a cowboy. Well, Webb and Jake, Mr. Fortenberry and Mrs. Fortenberry's sons, they roped, and I come from a family that my daddy and my mother worked very, very hard, but we didn't have a lot of money. And roping was an expensive sport to me. And I didn't have a lot of that support. Nobody in my family has ever been a rodeo cowboy. I'm a first generation rodeo cowboy in my family. I'm very proud of that. But I didn't have that push, so I thought, well, what could I do with no money? And for $100, you know, they'll let you go get on bulls. For $100, they'll let you do that. And I thought that I told Mr. Fortenberry I wanted to join high school rodeo. And so he got me the paperwork, and I remember going over to their house where we were sitting this afternoon, and he had to show me how to tie my knot in my bull. Y'all think I had any sense getting on bulls? I couldn't even tie the knot in the rope. I did know that you put your hand in there and you hold on. That was about as good as I got. But they took me in and they gave me guidance. And Michael Fortenberry, who's a cousin of the family, has been very gracious to me. He was a roper, and I went to a lot of high school rodeos with him. And I won't continue on, but my point to all this was that the foundation was laid by Mr. Fortenberry and Mrs. Kennedy and Mr. Hamilton, who was my principal at the time, Mrs. Cockrell, who I swear has been in this school for 100 years. I know she'd kill me for saying that, but the foundation was laid and nothing was ever changed. It doesn't mean he could read all these accolades that he wants to. I can sit here and tell you the things that I've done in my career, because on this COVID-19, when I've spent 12 and a half years on the road. And I've spent more time at home this year than I have in the last 12 years. And you look back, I have had the opportunity to look back at the things I've done at the age of 33 in my career. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'd hang it up in a minute to go home and spend the time that I've been able to spend this year with my wife and kids. I believe God works in mysterious ways, and for me, this whole thing has been able to reprioritize what is important in life. My single on the radio right now is called Dear Rodeo. It's a single, it's a duet with Reba McEntire, and we're doing a documentary around this song that tells the story of my life and where I come from. And so me and one of my friends that does filming for me, he came out, I brought him to Groveton about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We wanted to get some drone footage of the water tower and the football field and the town square, and I'm telling him all these stories when we're driving over here. Man, that's the night we, close your ears, baby. That's the night we ran from the cops over here. That's the night we almost got in trouble over here. And then Mr. McLean was on a forklift up in front of McLean's Hardware. And here come Luther Cockrell driving down the town square, and I'm out there, just standing there minding my own business. And, "Dadgum, boy, what's good to see you. We're so proud of you." And every time I've come back to Groveton, everybody walks up and, "We're so proud of you." And I'm not really sure what for. I feel like Mr. Fortenberry ought to be up here giving this speech and not me. I'm very honored. I'm very honored that you would accept me and give me this honor, especially because I feel like I only did my 4 years of time here and then I scattered on out. I'm very honored because I feel like the basis, I love what you said about the foundation, was laid here. Miss Kennedy taught me not to be afraid to step out and to sing for people. Just to step out and be yourself and unapologetically be yourself to influence somebody else. And Mr. Fortenberry taught me what it was like to make sure you show up on time and you make your yes mean yes and your no mean no and nothing in between. And that's helped me out in the professional world as far as my businesses. In the financial world, it's helped me. It's helped me do a lot of the things that I've been able to do, to stand in rooms with people that are much higher educated than I am, but to be able to have that discernment and know that they know I'm here, and I mean business whenever I do it. That came from right here. I was really worried when I came to Groveton because I didn't play football. And I was told that football is pretty much like a religion around here. And for a long time it was. But somehow I made it out of this school with just playing baseball and riding bulls in high school rodeo. And, you know, if Mr. Fortenberry had never encouraged me to do that, I wouldn't have the cowboy foundation that I have now that we're instilling in our kids. I wouldn't rope or ride cutting horses or do the things I do. If it weren't for Miss Kennedy and Mr. Fortenberry, and even Mr. Hamilton approving a lot of that, driving up and down the roads or being here on Sunday to practice, you know, I wouldn't have a band that's you know, I don't know if y'all know what a stream is, but on your phone when you download something or you look at it, that's a stream. We've had over 1 billion streams this year. And that's influencing a lot of people. For the very early parts of my career, I was very concerned about myself. Even though I was married, I was very concerned about myself and what I could do and what I could accomplish and all about me. And in the last 5 years, it's really started to hit me. You know, the more that I've given, you'll appreciate this. Pastor Randy Weaver is a good friend of mine, and we roped together. He's from Lone Star Cowboy Church in Montgomery, Texas. And well, most of the time when we rope together, we're not really talking about roping. We're talking about other things, life. And he has a good way to figure out how to slide in a therapy session when you're not expecting it. And he was at a show I played in Las Vegas at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, and I said, I want to thank the man upstairs. I want to give him all the glory. And we got back to roping a few weeks later, and he said, you know, I got to ask you something. He said, would it kill you to say his name? And I said, who? He said, the man upstairs. It could be the old boy cleaning the attic for all I know. And he said, would it kill you to say his name? And I said, what, you mean like Jesus? He said, no, Jesus Christ. Would it kill you to say that? No, I don't think it would. So I started saying this in my shows. I want to give all the glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for me being here. And at the time, I wasn't living, you know, I think we all have problems. I'm not going to stand up here and act like I got it all together, because you can ask him, I don't. But I was able to look at, you know, you wouldn't have had nothing. You wouldn't be what you are if it weren't for the people that influenced you. Well, how do you think, Cody? How do you think those people got there? What made you choose to go to Groveton instead of going to Trinity and setting forth that domino effect in your life? What made you choose to want to listen to Mr. Fortenberry's instruction about what you need? What made you listen? And you start to think, well, it is God. He had a plan this whole time. And it's funny, you step out of the way and you let him just do what he needs to do, and you decide that, for me, I decided I'm going to go to work and stay out of his way. And I'm going to tell you, all the dominoes have fallen in my career, and like I said, if it all ended today, I'd be just satisfied to go home and be what I am. But I'm very proud of what I've become, not because I've accomplished it. It's because of where I come from. And I could name you a lot of people that have influenced me just as much after I graduated high school, that gave me chances and gave me opportunities, and have influenced me and sat me down and said, listen, son, you're on the wrong path. You need to get your crap together, for lack of a better way of saying it. But that all started right here. And I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful to represent this school. I'm very proud for people to know where I come from. I'm glad that I came to school in a place where we did say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and everyone stood up, put their hand over their heart, showed the flag respect. I'm thankful that every morning over those speakers there was a prayer said. I like what you said. You're never going to get prayer out of school. I don't think you're ever going to get prayer taken out of anything. Rodeo, professional sports, somebody's doing it somewhere, you just ain't seeing it. And I'm thankful to have been raised in a place where life is this simple. I've been all over the world now, and I'm very happy to be back home. It's saddening to me to watch the news, because when you watch the news, you see this dissonance and this discomfort and this unrest and these horrible things that are going on, and you think, well, that ain't going on in Groveton. That ain't going on in New Waverly where I live now. It's just not going on. And I know there's a lot of people out there in the world that want you to believe it's going on, but it's not. And I wish I had an entire auditorium full of youthful kids in here today so I could say it. If you don't acknowledge hatred, it doesn't exist. If you don't acknowledge those things, they don't exist. And I think that that's one thing that Groveton, more so than, I can say this because I'm from here, more so than Trinity or Corrigan or some of the surrounding, for some reason, Groveton has found a way to alleviate itself from the world's problems. And that's a beautiful thing, and you should be very proud of it. You know, there wasn't any crime when I went to school here. There wasn't any of this, offenses toward other students. Nobody thought about carrying a gun into school. This is a place that has remained sacred throughout a lot of hardships in America, and I think if we can pass that down, it will continue to be that way. And that's my mission, to make sure that whenever I do approach kids, even if I am in Chicago, if I'm in someplace else, I want them to look at me and go, what's different about that guy? What makes that guy so different? It's the foundation that was laid. It comes back to God, it comes back to the family and the type of people that you surround yourself with. And I'm very thankful that the people from Groveton gave me a chance and have put their stamp on me. And no matter where I travel, no matter where I go, no matter what I accomplish from here on out, I'll always be from here. And I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time.